Ed Gein reportedly followed the grisly exploits of serial killer Peter Kürten, known as the Vampire of Dusseldorf, whose crimes shocked the world in 1929. Kürten's heinous acts in Germany, marked by a chilling obsession with blood, captivated Gein's morbid curiosity. Despite the distance and years between them, Kürten's notoriety reached Gein through the headlines and whispers of the criminal underworld. Peter Kürten's reign of terror in Dusseldorf spanned a grisly series of murders, assaults, and sexual violence. His methodical cruelty and the bizarre pleasure he took in his victims' suffering earned him infamy across Europe. Executed in 1931, Kürten left a dark legacy that continued to echo in the minds of those who read about his crimes. For Gein, these tales were not just stories. They were inspirations, feeding his twisted fantasies. Gein, isolated within the confines of rural Wisconsin, found in these accounts a perverse kind of kinship. He meticulously collected newspaper clippings, devouring every detail of Kürten's atrocities. This connection to a killer from another continent highlights a chilling truth: the power of such stories to transcend borders and time, embedding themselves deeply in the psyche of those already teetering on the edge of sanity. Kürten's fascination with blood, a macabre trademark of his killings, resonated with Gein's own grotesque inclinations. This shared fixation hinted at a psychological link, a bridge between their disturbed minds. It raises unsettling questions about the nature of influence and the thin veil separating observation from emulation. In the dim light of his farmhouse, surrounded by relics of his own making, Gein might have felt a grim solidarity with Kürten. His acts mirrored those of the German killer in their brutality and in their ritualistic nature. Yet, unlike Kürten, who reveled in the notoriety of his crimes, Gein remained a recluse, his horrors hidden, until they could no longer be contained. This obscure influence reveals a darker facet of Gein's psyche, one that was shaped by the twisted legacies of killers who came before him. As the world learned of his deeds, it became clear that Gein was not merely a product of his environment, but also a vessel for the malevolent spirits he sowed. The question remains, how many others might be lurking, inspired by the grim tales of past monsters? In November 1957, Gein's facade cracked. When police discovered the mutilated body of Bernice Worden in his Plainfield home, the scene was nightmarish, echoing the ghastly images from his clippings. Officers unearthed a collection of human remains, meticulously crafted into household items, each piece a testament to Gein's macabre artistry. The arrest sent shockwaves across the nation, unraveling decades of hidden horrors. As investigators delved deeper, they pondered the chilling possibility. Was Gein just the beginning, a harbinger of darker secrets, yet to be uncovered? Ed Gein entered this world on August 27, 1906, beneath the somber skies of La Crosse, Wisconsin. From his earliest days, the shadow of his mother, Augusta, loomed large. A woman of strict moral codes and unyielding control, Augusta instilled in Gein a worldview where sin lurked in every corner. Her dominance shaped him irrevocably, leaving him ill-equipped for life beyond her rigid confines. In the quiet isolation of their farmhouse, Gein clung to Augusta's every word, even as her grip tightened around his psyche. She preached of the world's inherent wickedness, casting women as the root of all evil. As Gein grew, so did his dependence on her, binding him to a life of solitude. Her death in 1945 left him adrift, yet her influence remained, an unyielding specter guiding his hand toward darkness. The years that followed Augusta's passing saw Gein's descent into madness accelerate. On November 16, 1957, the thin veneer of his normalcy shattered. Gein was arrested for the murder of Bernice Worden, a local hardware store owner. Her body, discovered in Gein's home, bore the marks of his grotesque handiwork. The brutality of the crime shocked the community, unveiling the horror that had festered quietly for years. Word of Gein's arrest spread quickly, capturing the nation's morbid fascination. His farm became a macabre museum, filled with grim trophies crafted from human remains. Each discovery was more unsettling than the last, revealing a mind consumed by ghastly obsessions. The media frenzy painted Gein as a monster, a living nightmare whose existence challenged the very fabric of small-town innocence. Yet the true depth of Gein's depravity remained hidden, overshadowed by the sensational headlines. His crimes were not merely acts of violence. but expressions of a twisted artistry, born from a lifetime of repression and isolation. As authorities combed through the evidence, they pieced together a chilling portrait of a man driven by forces beyond mere insanity. Gein's arrest marked the beginning of the end, yet his story did not conclude there. For years, he languished in the corridors of Central State Hospital in Waupun, Wisconsin, a shadow of his former self. On July 26, 1984, Gein died at the age of 77, his life a testament to the horrors that can arise from unchecked madness. His death closed a chapter, yet the questions surrounding his influences lingered. The connections, real or imagined, between Gein and those who had come before him continued to haunt. What dark inspirations had stoked the flames of his depravity? Could another twisted mind emerge from the shadows, driven by the echoes of Gein's legacy? The answers remained elusive, buried with Gein in the Wisconsin soil. Yet the fear they inspired lived on. In the aftermath of Gein's death, his legacy seeped into popular culture, inspiring fictional horrors that captivated the public imagination. Author Robert Bloch, fascinated by Gein's story, penned Psycho in 1959, forever altering the landscape of psychological thrillers. Alfred Hitchcock, drawn to the novel's chilling depths, transformed it into a cinematic masterpiece in 1960. This film, with its iconic shower scene, introduced audiences to the terrifying intimacy of the disturbed mind. Gein's crimes transcended their gruesome origins, becoming a haunting reflection of humanity's darkest corners. As fictional as these portrayals seemed, they were rooted in the grim reality Gein had lived. Here is what Psycho got right. The film captured the essence of Ed Gein's twisted relationship with his mother, Enid Watkins, through the character of Norman Bates and his overbearing mother. This portrayal mirrored the real-life dynamic between Gein and his mother, Augusta, whose strict and controlling nature left an indelible mark on him. Another accurate element was the media frenzy that surrounded Gein's arrest and trial. The show illustrated how his crimes were sensationalized, reflecting the true extent of public fascination and horror that gripped the nation. Lastly, Psycho's influence on popular culture was spot on. Gein's gruesome acts inspired not only this film, but also a broader genre of psychological horror, cementing his legacy in the darkest corners of cinematic history. Here is what they completely changed or left out. The film took liberties with timelines and character specifics, compressing the years of Gein's activities into a more concise narrative. In reality, Gein's arrest on November 16, 1957, followed years of reclusive behavior and escalating depravity, which the movie's pacing didn't fully capture. Moreover, while the show depicted the notoriety of Gein's crimes as leading to a documentary film in 2007, it omitted the title and specific details, such as the real documentary, Ed Gein, The Man, the Myth, the Murderer, which explored his life and crimes in depth. Lastly, the film didn't delve into the broader influence of Gein's actions on other media and public perception, focusing primarily on his impact on the Psycho narrative without acknowledging the wider cultural and psychological implications. These omissions and alterations highlight the tension between artistic license and historical accuracy, leaving viewers to ponder what other truths might lurk beneath the surface of what they see on screen. One significant aspect the film overlooked was the actual location of Gein's heinous acts. While Psycho is set in California, Ed Gein's crimes unfolded in the quiet, rural town of Plainfield, Wisconsin. This small community was utterly transformed by the horror that emerged from Gein's isolated farmhouse. Another omission was the role of local law enforcement, particularly Sheriff Art Schley, who was instrumental in uncovering the grim reality of Gein's activities. Schley's discovery of the human remains in Gein's home would haunt him for the rest of his life, a psychological burden not explored in the film. Moreover, the film missed the eerie detail of Gein's collection of human trophies, including masks made from the skin of his victims, a macabre aspect that shocked even seasoned investigators. This chilling revelation added a new dimension to the horror, one that Psycho only partially captured through its fictional lens. As we peel back the layers of artistic interpretation, the true gravity of Ed Gein's story continues to cast a long, unsettling shadow over the genre it inspired. In 1984, Ed Gein's body was exhumed and cremated, scattering his ashes in a Plainfield cemetery. The whispered horrors of his life seemed to dissolve into the earth, yet his legacy lingered, a specter over true crime and horror alike. His connection to a little-known serial killer reveals a chilling truth. The allure of darkness knows no bounds. It transcends time and space, weaving through the minds of those who find kinship in its depths. This tale of murder and influence dismantles the facade of safety we often cling to. It reminds us that beneath the surface of any society, shadows lurk, quietly waiting. Such stories change our world by forcing us to confront the uncomfortable reality of human nature's potential for cruelty. Follow Dark Crime Decoded for more real stories behind your favorite crime series and films.